What's happening, everyone? This is Gayuka Musa, also known as Coach G, and I'd like to welcome you to this week's episode of the Friday Fix. Now, in today's episode, we're going to be discussing the question, do I rely on statistics? Now, what does that mean exactly? Do I rely on statistics? So what I'm really asking is, do you allow the information from statistics or generalizations to inform you about who you're in a relationship with, or about who your potential partners might be or what they're capable of? So we've all heard relationship statistics like 50% of marriages end in divorce, or 67% of second marriages end in divorce, and don't get me started about third marriages. Or we've heard statistics about the imbalance between the number of single women, compared to the number of single men. We've also heard lots of generalizations. You might even buy into some of these, like all men cheat, or all women are gold diggers, or old people are bitter, or young people are apathetic. There's all kinds out there. Now, some of these statistics or generalizations might apply to you. They might be part of your story, might be patterns that you've experienced in your relationships. But what I'd like you to consider is that though they may be part of your experience, which is valid in and of itself, they're not necessarily predictive of what's going to happen. The thing about statistics is that they're really good at reporting on what has happened, but not necessarily good at reporting or predicting what will happen. The reality is that nothing is ever different until it is. And statistics don't see that difference coming. I read this article. It was about this guy named Roger Bannister. And in 1954, Roger Bannister accomplished something that had never happened in human history. In 1954, he ran the mile in less than 4 minutes. That was the first time it had ever happened. And the crazy thing is that within 5 years of that, more than 20 people had accomplished the same thing. So by 1960, over 20 people had also broken the 4-minute barrier and ran a mile in less than 4 minutes. Now, statistics would not have seen that coming. Statistics couldn't have predicted that that was going to happen. And the thing about statistics is that they apply to groups and not necessarily individuals. So what I want you to do is to try not to let statistics frame what's possible for you. Now check this out. When this video started playing, your brain, which is just an amazing thing, it saw everything in an instant. It saw this red throw over here, and it saw that plant and that pottery over there, and it saw the brick wall, and it saw this leather couch, and it saw that sliding wood door behind me, and it even saw this tiny little microphone right here. And it saw all of that instantaneously. But the brain has a system within it called the reticular activating system, which, even though it sees everything, it makes decisions about what it's going to pay attention to. Now, some of the things that guide that decision-making process are kind of species level, things like arousal or danger, things that are really kind of primordial to who we are as human beings. But there are other things that are more custom programming, and statistics can affect this programming. And I don't want you to allow statistics to frame what's possible or to program what your brain pays attention to. So in this week's fix, I want you to do one thing for me, and that is to be present. And the way that we're going to be present, because there's lots of ways to be present, but the way I want you to focus on being present is to ask questions. Now, there's two types of questions I want you to ask. The first type are questions to yourself. And the main question I want you to focus on is, what am I paying attention to? What is it that I'm seeing? What is it that is flavoring what my brain retains when it looks at a room or looks at a person? Because when you're taking in all the data about a person, it's way more than what's in this set, what's in this video. Your brain is taking in all kinds of data, and you program your brain on what to pay attention to. So I want you to ask yourself, what am I paying attention to? What is it that I'm focused on? And are those the kinds of things I want to be focused on? Now, the second type of question I want you to ask are questions to your partner. I want you to ask them questions, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a particular type of question, but I want you to adopt a pattern of curiosity, to not be so certain that you completely understand them or that you know everything about your partner, but to be curious. And the reason I want you to do this is that when you are curious and you start to identify with your own uncertainty, you start to really open the doors for new information to come your way. Curiosity is kind of the antidote for statistical certainty. It brings it sets the stage for new information to come your way. And I'll end with this quote that I heard on an internet radio show recently, and the host said, God gave us two ears and one mouth for a reason. We should listen twice as much as we talk. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode. I would love if you would leave your comments below this video, and also tell us what types of things you'd like to see discussed on future episodes of the Friday Fix. Until next time, this is Coach G reminding you to free your mind so your life will follow. Take care of each other, all right?